Hey YouTube, welcome back to Cassandra's Kitchen, where I eat to live and not live to eat. Today I am inspired to make some Jamaican cuisine. So I'm going to start off first with making some rice and peas, Jamaican style. So if you're interested in seeing how I create these rice and peas, stay tuned and I'll show you. Alright guys, so here we are. We about ready to make some Jamaican rice and peas. And what we're going to need to make these rice and peas, you're going to need either some, I'm using the red kidney beans. You can use red beans. And if you've ever gone to Jamaica or know Jamaicans, they call what we call beans here in the States, they call them peas. But you want to use a red bean. So again, I'm using the red kidney beans. You're going to need some scallions or spring onions, some people may call them. You're gonna need some fresh thyme, and I just get the thyme in the package. You'll need some fresh thyme. You're gonna need some garlic, about 3 or 4 nice cloves of garlic. I've already got those. You're going to need some, they use the Scottish bonnet peppers, which I can't find them here, but it's really similar to the habanero pepper. So I'm using that one. I have a little bit of fresh ginger. You're going to need some coconut cream or coconut milk. This is native forest. I get this from Sprouts. You want to make sure it's unsweetened. Coconut milk or coconut cream, you can make your own using shaved coconut, or you can get a coconut if you can find one and just blend it down in your water. You're going to need rice, of course. You can use any rice. Y'all know I don't use a lot of white rice, but for this recipe, I am going to use white rice. I got a jasmine long grain rice that I'm going to be using for this recipe. Of course, for my bean broth, I'm going to be using some better than bouillon. And I'm going to be using some other seasonings, which I'll get into those when we go and start putting those in a pot. But what you want to start off with is 2 cups of peas. And so what I've done, I've soaked these already. They soaked for a good 8 hours, I know. But I didn't want them to break up, but they're really soft. So if you soak your beans or peas long, they don't cook as long. So these should cook in about 30 to 45 minutes because we don't want to overcook the peas. We want to get the rice in there and let it finish cooking all together. So it's about 20 minutes for the rice. So leave about 20 minutes on your peas so that all can cook together. But this is what I've done so far. And so I want to come over to the stove for step 1, and I'll show you how we get this started. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, we want to have a nice deep pot that we can cook our peas in. And I'm just putting the ginger and the garlic. That's all we're going to need right now. And it's okay to kind of smash down your garlic a little bit and your ginger, just so that it releases the flavors while it's during the cooking process of the peas. And what I'm also going to be using is the Better Than Bouillon. I'm just using this seasoned vegetable base because I want to make my peas have some flavor as they're cooking. So I'm going to take a good maybe tablespoon of the Better Than Bouillon base. I'll taste it once I put my water in, make sure it's seasoned enough. But that's all we're going to do for now. And we're going to get our water in here. So I was going to try to just measure out the water, but you want to make sure your peas are good and covered so it'll give it an opportunity to boil and cook. And we want the water to remain so we can get our rice in there. So that's 4 cups of water. I was thinking about 8 cups. That's 6 cups of water. We're going to start off with 8 cups of water. And if we need to get rid of some of the liquid, we can, or if we need to add some more, we can. But this is just for us to get the process started to cook our peas. So I'm just going to mix in my bouillon base. This makes for a nice broth. This avoids me putting in any extra seasonings. Got the garlic in here. I got a little bit of ginger in here. And this is what we're going to do. I have my stove on high, almost on high. It's right before high, because I want to get these to a nice boil so they can cook. And because they've pre-soaked already, Like I said, it shouldn't take very long for the beans to cook. We don't want to overcook the beans and have a mushy bean. We want the beans to just be soft, but still have its texture and the consistency of the bean. So let me taste my broth here. Okay, that's good enough because we will be adding more seasonings during the process. So I'm going to go ahead and get a lid on this. We're going to let this come to a boil. I'm going to leave it just a little ventilation so it won't boil over. So I got it ventilated just a little bit there, but I got this on high heat. We're going to give this about 30 minutes. I'll check it, and if we need to move forward at that time, we will. If it takes another 10 minutes or so, we'll see as far as the beans are concerned, but I'll be back once our beans are done. All right, guys, so my beans, or my peas, let me rephrase that. My peas cooked for 45 minutes, and you can see that they're done. They're not all mushy. Some of them are still real firm and hard, but a couple of them, so they're ready. A lot of my water cooked down because I did let this boil. So what we're going to need to do, we're going to have to add a little bit more water since we're using coconut cream and not coconut milk. It's a little more cream thicker. We want to get our coconut cream in there. And this is 2 cans of coconut cream. And these are little 5.4 ounce cans of unsweetened coconut cream. And I'm going to start off with just 2 cans and see if this will do it. I think this is going to be plenty. So we're going to get our coconut in here. And I turned my thing off, but I'm going to turn it back on because I didn't want to overcook, because we're going to get our coconut cream in here. Look at that. You definitely can't make Jamaican rice and peas without coconut. So you need coconut cream or coconut milk, one of the two. All right. So now what we're going to do, we're going to put in our habanero. Like I said, we don't have the Scottish bonnet peppers. I can't find them nowhere, but habanero peppers works just as well. We're going to get some habanero in there. We're going to get some fresh thyme. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 stems of fresh thyme. We're going to get our shallots in here. And then what we're going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more water. Because what we want to do, we want to bring this to a boil for about 10 minutes. Just to let these ingredients cook down in here. So I got my temperature back up again. We're going to bring this back to a boil. I turned it down initially because I didn't want to overcook my peas. So we got that in there. Okay. And I didn't have any of the pimento berries or the or you can use allspice berries. I couldn't find either of those, so I just took a half a teaspoon of allspice. Mix that in there. That'll work just fine because those berries are just going to infuse the same flavor down in there. So if you can't find it, you can definitely use just your allspice. If you can't find your allspice berries or the pimento berries, you can use just regular ground allspice. But you don't need as much when it's ground, because usually you'll put about 5, 6, between 5 to 8 of the berries in there and let those cook. But since I couldn't find any, I went ahead and used the allspice ground. So now what we're going to do, we're going to return the lid back on here. We're going to let this boil for about another 10 to 15 minutes, and then we're going to bring in our rice. So just wanted to show you the next steps. All right, so next thing, guys, while we're finishing up over there on the stove, we're getting our rice ready. So you want to wash your rice really well. So I got 3 cups of rice in a bowl, and all I'm doing is rinsing all the starch off the rice real good. So usually about a good 3 rinses to get it done. But you want to get as much of that starch off your rice. So that alleviates it from being real sticky. So we want a nice fluffy rice and not a real sticky rice. This is not that dish. So, and then washing your rice also, it gets out any of those little messed up pieces of rice. Usually anything that's not whole grain that's down in there, rocks or whatever, sometimes can be in your bag. It allows it to float to the top. But just want to check your rice just to get a lot of the murkiness out of it. Some people may already know this, but you got some people, guys, and that's why I try to spend a little extra time, because some people are not cooks. Some people are just now cooking or going down this path. So I know certain things that I do can be boring. It's like, oh, we know that, let's get to the next step. But sometimes you have to really just stop and allow people who don't cook in the kitchen or who don't make certain things have an opportunity to actually learn how to do it. So I think this is going to be the last and final rinse, because our water is a lot clearer now. If you can see that, it's not as murky. We got a lot of that starch off our rice here, and I just got a strainer. And I'm just going to pour all this water off. Get down in there real good. Okay. Just so I don't lose any of my rice. Okay. There you have it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to head back over to the stove and get this in our pot. All right, because you can see here with our thyme and everything is still intact, but it's cooking good. So we're going to leave all that in there. We're going to get our beans in, our rice in here. And this is 3 cups. And when you're cooking your rice, you want to make sure that your water is about 1 inch to 1.5 inches over your rice, depending on your rice. If you're using a brown rice or a wild rice for this recipe, you will need more water because it will take a lot longer for that rice to cook. Now for the white long grain rice, it should cook in about 15 to 20 minutes. And so what we're going to do, we're just going to get our rice in here. Get my hands wiped off. And so how you can tell your rice, so you can see my rice here. So my water is good. I mean, it's a little more than 1.5 inches, but that's okay. I think we're going to be fine there. And what I'm going to do is let this boil for another 10 minutes. And then I'm going to turn it down and let it simmer the rest of the way on low until all the liquid is taken out of the pot. So another 10 minutes on high, then turn it down and let it simmer with the lid on. Okay guys, so this is ready. Our juices have cooked down. We have a nice fluffy rice, but what we're gonna do, one more step here. We're gonna leave everything. I'm gonna just take out these thyme pieces, the stems here, just kind of fluffing it in here. And I'm gonna pull out the little thyme stems. If you don't get them out, that's fine. Because when you make your plate, you can get it out. So next thing we're gonna do, I got it on off, but all that steam down in there, we're gonna let this fluff just a little bit longer. You can use foil or you can use saran wrap. Since this is not touching my food, I'll use a little bit of foil. I don't like cooking with foil where my food touches the foil, but I will put foil on my pot. So a lot of people, they put the foil on there for another 10 minutes or so just to keep all that heat in there, but it's turned completely off. And I'm gonna put the lid back on it and I'm just gonna let it rest. I'm gonna let it rest for about 10 minutes. And guys, that's all it is to making Jamaican style rice and peas. So once this rests, I'll come back and let y'all see what it tastes like. All right, guys, so we are done. Really simple and easy making our rice and peas. I actually think it's really, the flavors are there. Everything is really good. If I was to criticize it, the only thing I would say is that my rice and my beans are a little more together than I would like it, but that's okay. The next time I would probably use a red bean instead of a kidney bean, because I like the way the red bean transforms the color in there versus the kidney bean. The kidney beans aren't as red as the kidney beans aren't as red as the red beans. So I would probably change it and use the red bean or the red pea. My Jamaican brothers and sisters would say, yeah, man. I would use that one versus that, and then I would just probably try to not cover it for the last 10 minutes, maybe not cover it and seal it, because I think that's where it kind of consistently came together just a little bit more. But it's delicious. I am going to say it's delicious to me, but that's my opinion. But Mr. Coleman.
Yes.
Can I have your assistance, please?
Yes, you may.
Come on over here, sir. So I want you to taste the Jamaican rice and peas. Okay. Bowl's a little hot, so be careful there. Let me know what you, that's just a little bit of the onion that's down in there. That's just the shallots.
Like, what's that hanging?
Just a little bit of the shallots was down in there. But all the thyme stems have been taken out.
It's good. It's got good flavor. Just a little sticky, but it's good.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think because the way the rice cooked towards the end,
right,
I should have just released that aluminum foil maybe off about 10 minutes sooner, and it wouldn't have came together as much. I don't think you need the aluminum foil piece.
No. But anyway, y'all, the rice is excellent. The rice is good. The flavor's there. I mean, it's beans and rice, but it was just a little bit, I guess, what's the word for it?
More sticky.
Yeah, it's just a little bit stickier than your normal Jamaican rice.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's good. It's good.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
First time making my rice and peas, mine. But the flavors are there. Again, what I would do is just not put the aluminum foil on the end. I think that's what caused, with the steam and everything in the pot.
Right.
I think that's what caused it to just be a little bit more together. But it's comforting. It's really good.
It's really good. Let me try some more of that.
What I like about it, you get that rich taste of coconut. You got the little hint of allspice down in there. This is just like a bowl of comfort food. So,
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Really good, y'all.
The coconut does it for me.
Mm-hmm.
The flavors, y'all, the flavors and everything is on point. I would say if you make it, just maybe turn it down and don't put that foil on the end or let it out. Just try to avoid it from being, I think I got a cast iron. I was cooking mine in a cast iron pot. And that cast iron holds heat.
Yeah.
And I think once I put the rice in there on that last boil, probably should have just turned it down a little sooner and then just let it cool and then not put that aluminum foil on top to let the rest of the water go out. It would have just went out naturally. Yeah. Because I think that heat just kind of went into it and just made it fluff together just a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more stickier than normal, but
it's good. Can't stop eating it, y'all.
But it's good.
That's how good it is. It's good.
So, there you have it.
Yes.
Jamaican style.
Jamaican style, y'all.
Rice and peas. So if you try it and you like it, you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. And of course, share the video.
You guys.
And if you haven't subscribed to Cassandra's Kitchen, what are you waiting on? Subscribe.
Yes.
And again, from my kitchen to yours, be blessed.
Yes.
We love you. Bye-bye now.
Peace out, y'all. Bye.